Tonight, the nation continues to remember the life and legacy of former President Jimmy Carter. In 1977, Ike Leggett was selected for the prestigious White House Fellows Program in President Jimmy Carter's administration. Back then, he was an assistant dean and professor at Howard University Law School. It was a turning point for Leggett, who was appointed by President Carter and one of just 14 citizens chosen for their own exemplary achievements. Ike Leggett, the former Montgomery County executive, is here now to talk about these memories you have of Jimmy Carter. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I know this has been a little emotional for you.
Oh, certainly it is. It's an emotional time and a challenge for many people who had the opportunity to work for him, as well as to know him as well as I did.
So you and President Carter had these connections that you didn't know of at the time, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you were both from the rural South, you both served in the military, and you come into this role as a White House fellow, and I wonder how these shared experiences you had together helped cement this relationship that you built through the years.
I think the fact that he was from the South, a governor from Georgia, I was from Louisiana, rural background, very humble beginning. I was able to take him at his word. So there was a trust in what he said, what he did. When he addressed issues on his inauguration, when he quoted Dr. King, when he talked about the challenges that he grew up with in Georgia, it gave me a special connection because I saw in him someone who was a very faithful person, an honorable person, and someone who really would keep his word.
Let's talk more about your days as a White House fellow. I know you saw a lot, experienced a lot, you traveled quite a bit. Tell me about this trip you took, a flight you took on a Navy trip with the president.
Well, he wasn't on the trip, but it was a trip that we had taken as a group out on an aircraft carrier. And I'm not sure if you're aware of how you land on a carrier. There's a cable across the carrier. We had two different planes that we're flying in. And the first plane, it goes in and it lands okay and it grabs the cable, it lands safely. I'm in the second one.
Oh no.
And it missed the cable. And it goes completely off the deck. And all I could see around me was water. And when you land, you literally land at takeoff speed. But the pilot had to really ram the engine back up even further to get us back up. And it was a scary moment. We came back around, and we actually caught it the second time, and it was successful. And when I got off the plane, one of my colleagues said, you know, I've never seen a person of your color look like a ghost. I think you look like a ghost, Mr. Leggett, at this point.
Which was understandable, right? Everybody had that fear factor going on at that time. That was certainly something you won't ever forget.
No.
I know you had this front seat to history, and you won't forget a lot of things, but we've got a picture of you at the Camp David Accords.
Yes, that was really exciting. It was a high achievement for President Carter and for his administration. And I think when people look back historically, they will see his dedication and commitment to do that because it took an awful lot of effort to pull those three people together to come up with that agreement. And I was delighted to be there to see it personally. Yeah.
I know you were so fascinated by the inner workings of the White House. You saw governing up close, and you decided in these moments that you too would go on to govern in some way, and you became Montgomery County's first African-American county executive. I wonder what you learned from those years watching, or that year specifically watching President Carter, that you took into your own leadership.
Well, to bring people together. He was a person who really collaborated. He's a person who worked with people very well. To be patient, to look at the long-term issues and not for just quick satisfying kinds of political things. And I think if you look at my administration in Montgomery County and my public service, I was a person who I think brought people together, worked for the long term, and did not sort of rattle people up, but to try to find good in everything that we did. And I think I picked a great deal of that up watching President Carter. And it's a sad moment for our country, but I think he reflected something that I think is great about America.
I want to show this picture of you with your class. You visited with President Carter and with Rosalind Carter back in 2018. So this wasn't just an experience where you served for a year and you didn't have any more contact with both your fellows and the people you served. Tell us a bit more about that visit.
It was quite remarkable because we found that he was quite sharp, that he had this interaction. He remembered quite a few of us, and he talked about his experiences. To have an opportunity to still see him, to talk to him, to experience that intimacy, and it was about 3/4 of a day that we spent with him. I think it was quite remarkable for me. I walked away from that just in greater awe of him as a person as well as a former president.
If we can show a video or picture of people paying their respects to the former president now, I wonder, what do you hope most that the nation will take away from him, and what have you taken away from him personally?
I've taken a greater appreciation for him, the sacrifices that he made, not only while he was president, but also his post-presidency. That here's a man who was still humble, a person who really gave it all, and a person, I think, when we look at the diversity that we see around this country, the divisions that we see, a person who really tried to bring us together in the most decent and respectful manner.
Ike Leggett, former Montgomery County executive, we thank you for your memories of President Carter's service and also for your service.
Thank you.